Wake up, bro. Ooh.
Well,
It's Aloha Friday, everybody.
yep.
Let's
It,
go, Tom. Let's go. Here we go. Aloha, everybody. Welcome tonight on this wonderful Monday night. Two Monday night football games tonight. My Steelers won, which was a nice thing. Big Ben still got it, bro. Still got it.
what is his name? Ben Ratzenberger or whatever, Hamburger. What was his name?
Uh, his name is Big Ben Roethlisberger. Right
Rot,
there, baby.
Rotless.
Right there. You see? Roethlisberger. That is him,
Oh,
baby. That is he.
I gotta
So nice to have football. So nice to have football back. So nice.
not to have
I don't know.
not
I
to
don't know how
not
long that lasts.
not to change the subject, but did did Governor Ige say that we're going to pass October 1st now? Did he say that?
Not formally. Not formally, but yeah, that's what he said. That the pre-testing program for trans-Pacific travel is not going to happen October 1. So
So what is he doing? He's still keeping the state closed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because, well, I mean, you know why? They don't have a protocol in place. I don't think they have a protocol. All that big talk about um, CVS and they was going to have all these test kits and people could just go get a test 72 hours before they travel and they can come right in. And I think what he's finding, I don't know this, but obviously the proposals which includes more than one test like they did for Temptation Island and all of that. I mean, I think they're just not ready. They haven't done anything. I don't think they've done anything. But we'll see. We will see.
So what does
So
he
I think,
plan on doing? Since I'm gonna eat my Snickers now I'm a little bit upset. But since um since you're gonna open up, we're gonna open up 2024, 2025. Which one is it gonna be?
well, like we talked about, we had that discussion that let's try to focus on getting the inner island, the local islands open up first. Remember we had that discussion, and Senator Kyoho Kalole and a few of the mayors sent letters to the governor say, hey, let's focus on opening our local economy first.
And
Let
what happened?
us, well, I don't know. In fact, we need to follow up, but he did commit to having that discussion and looking at doing that first. So I think that's the angle we got to take before Trans-Pacific. I mean, no doubt about it. You cannot let the Trans-Pacific passengers come in on one test when we don't know even if a two-test system, which you're talking about for inner island for us local residents, we don't even know if that will work. So, but there's no,
Well,
it's just no, there's no decision, there's no information, everything is hush hush. I'm assuming he'll do a press conference tomorrow, but we gotta start looking at the proposal that the Senator Jared Keoho Kalole proposed, which support is being supported by several of the mayors. I think that's the direction right now. Focus on that and get that done. Try to do that for 30 days or 60 days. I mean, doing nothing is not going to make anything better. That's if you just sit back and keep pushing them off October, November, December. But
this is what I'm gonna do.
we're not doing
This
anything.
is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna enjoy my Snickers as you tell us about what the governor's gonna do.
I wish I had one Snicker.
I want peanut butter cookie.
No, I don't want a peanut butter cookie. I want a Snicker.
It's warm. One peanut butter cookie.
I want a Snicker bar. That's what I want.
I give you two peanut butter cookies.
Oh, the fresh ones just came out of the.
It's just out of the oven. It's warm.
Oh, why don't you bring me one of those cookies? Since I cannot let Charlie eat his damn Snicker bar without me having a Snicker bar, or actually, I'd rather have your peanut butter cookies than a Snicker bar anyway.
It's warmer. Kind of cooled off a little.
Oh boy, just off of the oven. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Uh,
Mm. Oh, Charlie,
yeah.
I don't even like cookies, but these peanut butter cookies is a
Wait,
best.
let me show you what I just came out of the oven 20 minutes ago. Wait, hold on.
Oh God.
Mm. Well, anyway,
Here you go. 20 minutes ago.
What is that?
one more Snickers. You don't need two Snickers.
It's going from staff.
People are asking for order cookies. They like order cookies. Food show tonight. Oh man, is this the cooking show now? I don't know, man. You never know what's going to happen on this show. It's all because it's his fault. It's his fault for eating one damn Snicker. All right, mukbang Monday. Chopsteak with corn and mayo. Oh my God. Peanut butter cookies, my favorite. Yes, it is, and it's just out of the oven. You're making that look so good. I'm getting me a cookie now.
Who's that?
Bernadette Raposo.
You know, I found out. You know what tastes even better than this? Right here. You ever had a backward Snicker? You ever heard of that? A backward Snicker, that candy?
No.
I'll show you a backwards one. Watch.
You was stuck
There you go. There's a backward Snicker.
Oh man. Oh, now they want recipes. They want recipes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Lilikoi butter on crackers. That's the bomb.
Okay.
Look,
Okay. I sorry, but you guys are making me hungry.
Bro,
You guys are making me hungry.
I got Joanne Brune makes Lilikoi butter. That on top
Ooh.
of the Saloon Pilot cracker. Or a soda cracker too. But she get this
Oh,
wasabi cracker that you put the Lilikoi butter on top. Should be illegal. Should be banned in the United States of America. That thing is so damn delicious. But anyway,
everybody, you
ah,
get a chance, share this, please.
oh yeah,
Share.
I forgot. Share. Because tonight we get Representative Lynn DeCoite from Molokai. And look, we already get 100 messages, and it's not even 6:55, 6:53, and we get 100 messages. This thing tells me, congratulations, you've received 100 messages. Okay. 1,000 people gonna be watching you guys eating. I like doing cooking segment with Patsy. She says no, but I like really do one, and I will do one. I will mark my word. I'm gonna do one. It won't be on a night a Facebook Live with Bella and Charlie, but it will be one of these days where she's making uh, cooking.
Okay. One last candy joke. Do you know what this is?
No, I don't.
Well, here it comes again.
I don't know. What else have you been eating or smoking or what, Charles? You're not. It's good. It's good. He's happy.
You
At
gotta
least
get
he's
it off
happy.
now.
No, I
Uh,
had a good rest. I had a good rest, and I am just pumping, raring to go. Uh, I'm just raring to go, brother. Whew.
well, we never know what we're gonna. Trust me, we never know what we're gonna talk about between 6:45 and 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
Tyson is volunteering to be in the studio audience for the cooking show. I'm going to invite Sam Choi to your house. Sam Choi, no fit in our house. That's how
yeah.
small our house is, but definitely don't fit in a kitchen. But anyway,
Or if he does, he's gonna have to cook sideways with only one arm the whole time.
yeah.
With one arm, yeah.
It's the cookies. There's so little left to enjoy. Uh, you can't trust one Hawaiian in sneakers. Eating Snickers, they will take your candy and run. I know. Snickers is my favorite candy,
Who said that? Oh,
Gary.
that's one of my my workers. I think he just turned in his resignation papers to me yesterday. So
God. Well, anyway, tonight we have Representative Lynn DeCoite from Molokai. We all know Molokai today, 13 cases from an island that had 2 cases back in April, I think, and then they went so and now it's the clusters are growing, and so Representative DeCoite will be addressing that tonight, letting us know what's going on Molokai. Titans 13, Broncos 14. So anyway, that'll be exciting tonight. Lynn, if you remember Lynn, a couple times that she's been on, she holds nothing back, and I have a feeling that. Oh, here we go. Just fresh off the phone. Oh, where did it go?
well, it's not fresh
Oh,
anymore.
I pressed the wrong button. Anyway, it said another. Yeah, it disappeared. Anyway, it said another setback for tourism, something about October 1st, and when I clicked it, it goes to the KHON page. Of course, the alert comes before the story is up on the page, so we're gonna have to wait till they actually put that up. So anyway, we'll hear from Representative DeCoite tonight to talk about what Molokai is doing. It's 13 cases on that little island can be devastating. We know that. We haven't heard much coming out of the governor's office. We heard from Lieutenant Governor Josh Green this morning. Apparently, he's seeing some minor symptoms starting already, and so we're tracking him. He'll be on our show on Thursday, God willing. We hope he gets better.
Yep.
And but it'll be interesting to hear from a doctor, an ER doctor, a lieutenant governor, and someone that's actually positive COVID. So Thursday, block your calendars. And okay, governor said the Trans-Pacific postponed till November now. So thanks, Eugene. But again, Charlie, like you were saying, I mean, we need to get a handle on our inner island. We talked about this. There's a proposal in front of the governor now. He needs to take some action. This talk is Paul. Too late for talking already. We're talking 6 months, 7 months.
No, if he's gonna postpone the bigger picture, right? You always try. I mean, look, even with a vaccine, they do these clinical trials to get a positive readout before they decide, okay, we're gonna release it to the world. They're doing the most responsible thing. Well, doing an inner island trial is like a clinical trial. Try it with the inner island first. If that works, then open it up to the big picture. But this is what I'm afraid of as well. And some of you that felt that I blew a gasket the other day with my post, I'm sorry. It was just it was my acting debut. It was my acting debut for the new Hawaii 5-0 series. Now, only kidding. But what we should be doing is already planning that if the inter-island, I have no doubt the inter-island is going to work. But if the inter-island doesn't work, we should have a backup plan, because if not, we're going to stay in this holding pattern. And folks, I'm going to tell you right now, I've seen helicopters hold in one place for a very long time until what? Until they run out of gas. Then guess what happened? They come crashing to earth. And that's what's going to happen to us if we're not careful. So I think they better get one backup plan ready. I mean, even in the department, you know that, Mel. You're going to serve on warrant, you're going to backup plan. What if somebody returned fire? You got to make sure you get enough bodies there to take somebody down if you have to. You just don't go there and go, oh, crap, they're shooting at us now. What are we going to do? You don't wait to the last minute.
But Charlie, you cannot have a backup plan if you don't have an initial plan. You got to have an initial plan before you can have a backup plan. They don't have an initial plan. I don't know what they're waiting for. This. If you look at the inter-island proposal, it's pre-departure screening, health screening, and testing, post-arrival health screening and testing. That's a plan, but no mention of it. No mention, right? We talked about it on our show. We're going to have the senators and a couple of the mayors on very soon to talk about what they envision, but nothing out of the governor's office. No, not nothing. So now what I saw Tyson just post um, that maybe because he works in a hotel, or maybe he's hoping that he can at least go back to work by Christmas. But if you come out with an explanation of why, yeah, why, and we know that the state has been a complete failure as far as the administration is concerned in all aspects of government, and no explanation. Like, hey, we're looking at a new possible protocol that we're going to allow inner island, our local residents. Stop talking about the tourists for now. Let them go. Leave them wherever they're at, and let's focus on our local residents who needs to get around this state. And let's focus on that, and working on a protocol that should take us another a week or so, 7 to 10 days, to get all the kinks worked out with the legislature and with the administration. And then we're going to try this out for a 30-day, 45-day, 60-day pilot project to see, because you got to give it time, because the way this virus operates. And if in fact it's successful, then we will consider opening up Trans-Pacific. I think a lot of people can at least understand, whether they agree or disagree, but they can appreciate knowing that there is a plan. But right now, there is no goddamn plan. We don't know what the heck is going on. You watch the news, it's the same news. If you watch the news today, aside from the numbers changing, it's the same broadcast every single day. Nothing new. Nothing new.
That is why people like watching us, because we are fresh. We are always different.
And you freaking eat Snicker bars before the show, knowing that I don't have my Snicker bars, and now I'm in a goddamn bad mood. And Patsy's asking if she like I go to the store for go buy a Snicker bar.
I don't want you in a
Anyway,
bad mood.
we got one good fun guest tonight. Representative Lynn DeCoite, amazing person, farmer, Molokai sweet potatoes, a hard worker, care for the people. You saw her on our show before. She dropped the bombs just like everyone else. And I don't know what her temperament is tonight. I never talked to her, but I don't think she's too happy with what's going on. I can see her, and she cannot. We cannot hear her. She can hear us. But I'm going to be bringing her on in about a minute. But I'd like you guys to understand that this Wahine love her island, love the state, and I can only imagine how she feels right now. Remember when Kauai, we got those clusters popping up. Everybody was concerned, worried, what we're going to do. Well, Molokai is different. It's small. It's a very close-knit community. So a little different demographics than we have here in Kauai. But I think I was talking to my good friend Pono Asano about half an hour ago, and we were talking about the cultures of Molokai and Kauai, and it's pretty much the same. We value our fishing, our hunting, and we love our people, and we love each other. So it's scary for Molokai, and we ask for everyone to pray for all of those people in Molokai, in addition to the rest of the world. But I'm going to bring in Representative DeCoite right now. Oh, that was quick. That was quick. Hang on here. I got to change this thing real quick. Boom, there. How's that?
How you
Can you hear
doing?
me?
Charlie, how you guys?
Oh, doing
Awesome.
good. Good.
But
Thank you
since,
so much.
but
Thank you
Mel,
for joining.
since Charlie never give you on Snickers, I was gonna bring you on good news for today. Sorry, I would pass it on, but they said beam it up, Scotty.
That's my second favorite candy.
Oh shoot!
Man, I don't even, man.
I go an apple.
Oh, an apple. She got an apple. Asparagus wrapped in bacon. Ooh, there we go. We had for dinner tonight, we had smoked meat and onion
Oh,
with
nice.
with guava jam inside. You gotta
Holy
put the, oh man. If you never tried that, you got.
they post all those menus and those grab and go meals. Holy smokes, man! Wanted to
Yeah.
put in my own order, but it's
Well,
good to.
once we open up the inner island, you can come over and have some fresh smoked meat with guava jelly and onion. Beautiful stuff.
Would love to. Would love to miss you guys in Kauai. You guys have been such an awesome leadership in moving forward in COVID-19, and we've taken a lot from what Kauai has done, just as individuals, not just here in Molokai, but across the state of Hawaii. I can only say that we look towards you folks as a leadership in making sure we flatten the curve. And being that we're in the position we are now on Molokai, it's been very challenging and concerning for many of the residents here. So, mahalo, Mel, Charlie, for having having me on tonight, and I appreciate it because the outreach has been huge. Coming from many of my friends like you guys across the state, I really appreciate you folks, and I can't say enough about what you folks have done in guidance for the rest of us. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We try. I mean, that's the little that we can do. We enjoy doing this as well, and we appreciate everybody that's on. I mean, we thousands of people every night. Thousands of people watch this every single night, and we thank them, because if not for them, no more show. But Lynn, why don't we start by taking us back to March, April, when you guys got your first case? How Molokai was like the isolated island, clean from COVID. Then you got your first case. Can you take us back to there and just walk us through what happened and what you guys did to address those initial cases, and then what's going on now, and what are you guys doing now with this new cluster?
So, Mel, Charlie, of course, it was a big shocker for us, as small knit as we are, as close as most of us are here on Molokai, like you guys on Kauai. We're all in some way, some fashion related to each other, whether we've hanai'd each other's family and so forth. It was a blow to Molokai. At the same time, we've known that not just Molokai, but the state of Hawaii, we believe that Las Vegas has always been the ninth island. And my husband hates when I say the ninth island, because literally it's the island that take all your money. But, with that being said, the case did come back to Molokai, and it was an ordeal because many of us knew who the individuals was. So the minute any of you land on Molokai, the welcoming is this: never saw the guy before, but before you reach Halawa Valley, we all know who you are. And we all know what you're doing on the island. It stemmed from something like that. And as we watch and listen to the community, Facebook has been good and bad to most of us. And word spread really fast of the individual. But we've learned, I've learned that it's not a good idea to use an individual's name. It's to resort to them as an individual, because as both of you know, we do not, COVID-19 doesn't discriminate. It'll catch you by surprise. And we've seen many of the celebrities. I think the message going forward really is that it could happen to any one of us. Charlie, you've suffered the hardship within your own family, and our condolences to the loss on your brother. As many of us have experienced that through family and friends across the nation. It has become really frustrating. As I was listening to the both of you earlier, really what we're looking for is a leader. We're looking for somebody to guide us and to give us the step 1, step 2, step 3. And even as we move forward from March to now, we're challenged with the point that if we have somebody that comes out of quarantine that should still be in quarantine, they're moving about, and we have all these complaints as lawmakers and legislators, we're trying to say, okay, report it to the police. Little do we know the police's hands are tied on enforcement. And then, we have the conversation in between and say, hey, why are you guys not out there arresting these guys or like locking them up? Well, so there's two sides to every story. And it was because they did not have the authority, neither did they have the individual's name that confirmed they were positive. And all it takes is 1 or 2 knuckleheads, or COVIDians, as you guys would say, to make it hard on everybody else. And we have many, many, many kupunas, and not just kupunas, but individuals wanting us to regain a normal life, but we cannot. We cannot, because we don't have, as we would say, put your feet down, grow some backbone, or really grow some balls, and take the lead and say, this is what we're gonna do. You guys have done an exceptional job on Kauai. And as you folks air every night and you folks have bring on everybody, I can only imagine with every department, every lawmaker, every congressman, and we have reiterated the exact same thing time and time again. By the way, who's the leader and which way are we going? Because really that's where we're at, it's easy to pass blame, but when you look at the situation, and in our case here on Molokai, we had 13. Today we jumped to an extra 2 and we get 15. I think per capita, I never really do the numbers because I did go to public school, but I know 1 and 1 is 2, okay? But we get 15, and I believe we are leading per capita right now at the 15 confirmed, 13 active cases. And it's alarming to me that little do we know that you folks had set the precedent in making sure, and so did Brigadier General, I'll make this really clear, Brigadier General O'Hara had said when he first came out, are we opening too early? And are we asking or are we tasking? And I think that's where we lost footage and gain going forward on really the lockdown of how we should have suppressed the situation and then keep everybody in position before we opened up, as we said we would do. And I think it was all wrong. And that's why we're in a position that we are today. And be it known that we really want to know who do we turn to. As you guys know, lawmakers ourselves, we still have a body that becomes higher than we are. We have an executive branch, legislative branch, and so on. But we want to know where's the rules. What do we do going forward, or do we get at this point where we start to take matters into our own hands? Which is what Molokai is pretty much doing. I mean, and mahalo to most of the Molokai people that are tuning in tonight, as well as those from East Maui. But this is really frustrating. It's very tiresome because the same questions that people ask has never been answered. Who do we go to? And in Molokai's case, now that we've gotten enforcement there, what does the enforcement do with the individual that have broken isolation and quarantine?
Lynn, let me ask you something. The thought came up several nights ago, and I don't know if you got to see my post yesterday, but it's I've called for everyone who is concerned because Mel and I talked about this. It's okay to say something, but you always have a backup plan to either confirm what you're saying, or should you run afoul, you have something that can mitigate the situation, because that's what you do. You have a backup plan. As a legislative body such as the House of Reps, has it ever been discussed with Speaker Psyche to unify one voice, even though there's an executive branch above the legislative branch, to come out to the executive branch and say, hey, when this is all said and done, the one who would have to pick up the crap going to be us legislators, because we're going to have to think about where money going to come from, what we're going to have to cut. All of this kind of stuff is going to come into play. So it's okay to play in the tree house, but they always say doodle goes downstream. It never comes upstream, right? So has the legislative body ever considered unifying and say, you know what, we got to go to the governor and say, hey, Gov, this is where we're at. You got to do something. Has that ever been discussed?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It might have been discussed within its leadership, but as a full body of the House of Representatives, I cannot say that it has. At the same time, a unified front needs to be shown. And it's not just politically. It's the unified front within a community, within the individuals themselves. Take away the titles at this point. We're in a pandemic. This is a worldwide crisis we're in. Mm-hmm. So if you feel that your title statue, whether it's president, governor, whatever, literally your shit still rolls downhill, right? Until we get over the high horse of what your status is, we ain't going anywhere. We're going to be back to same old. And that is the biggest disconnect that I think we have. And If none of us as lawmakers have seen that, then we basically brain dead, because literally the communities is reaching out to us, which is why you have all these people continuously potting and going out and doing what they do, because nobody's leading us in a direction that we need to be led. You know, if you screwed up, as Native Hawaiians ourselves, Charlie, right?
Yep.
Cracks. You're gonna get cracks. So you really think about this before you do something, and this is what we need as lawmakers and as the overall body, as decision makers. We need to get cracks. So as an individual, as a body, if we've done wrong, then make it right. Make it right and listen to the people and what they're trying to tell you, because we're still back to the same thing. UI is backed up, PUA is backed up, you know, just trying to get benefits, just trying to get food to the people. And yet we tend to say, oh, sorry, but it's not me. That's the other guy. No, that's us. It's us. It's all of us. But until we acknowledge and accept the fact that, you know, everybody needs to play a role in here, even if you're not one lawmaker, you care that deeply about your community. Because what I saw through the past couple months was just people crying and reaching out and saying, hey, all we're asking is somebody to guide us. Who do we turn to? And literally, as you try to do something, you get, as we would say, scoldings. And, you know, you don't have a right for say that or do that. Oh no, I get a right for say whatever I want, especially if it's right. But what we have to do is make sure what we're saying, if it's right, now do it. Because here you have funding that's made available, but we're thinking about how we're using the funding when funding should be used for COVID-19 issues. Funding should be used for security. Funding should be used for facilities where enforcement, I don't care really at this point, because people are requesting us to defund the police. How do you defund people that are trying to protect? And don't get me wrong, you have plenty rotten apples out there. But look at what just happened to that woman and that man, the sheriffs. What is wrong with people nowadays? What is this coming to? The woman has a child, 6-year-old. You know, in the mindset, it's because government has yet to set up this situation where we're educating people and we're helping them. And I think that's the most frustrating thing for myself while I try to explain to people how government works. And like you, Mel, you've been in government, you know what the internal logistics of this is, and it gets very frustrating. So trying to share this message, not just in Molokai, but the entire East Maui of who I represent, becomes very challenging because it's different islands. It's the only canoe district. What happens here in Molokai is different what happens in East Maui. It's different what happens in Lanai. So you have to know the dynamics of that and then try to work within a body of colleagues that then tries to understand those challenges. And that's where right now, I believe, is very hard for us to get that message across, to isolate the pandemic, isolate the confirmed cases, and make sure these guys are doing what they're supposed to. So it wouldn't impact the lives of anybody else. In this case, they get sick or they die.
You know, you brought up something where the united front, you know, and that's something that is lacking, I think, statewide. Remember, Lynn, not long ago, several years ago, the 4 counties, the 4 mayors, the 4 councils, and I believe it was for TAT, it was for lifeguard protection. But for the first time in the history of the state of Hawaii, the councils and the mayors got together to go to the legislature. And that was for some important issues. I mean, it was for money and it was for protecting our lifeguards and a couple other things. This pandemic is more serious than those items. They are. I mean, what we're going through right now, and what I haven't heard really is a united front. I haven't heard that from. You know, I don't say this. I mean, no disrespect to anybody, but I'm just saying I haven't heard the councils, the mayors coming together to go to the legislature, hopefully gain support from the legislature, and then go to the governor and say, Governor, enough is enough. We've had various people, you know, various legislators and everyone, you know, we all want to do what we can, but I haven't seen that in this pandemic. I haven't. I know. I think Honolulu did a resolution. Honolulu Council did a resolution once, but if you don't know the councils and the administrations, the mayors all together in one united front, hard to get your message across. And in this case, I cannot imagine any other issue more important than this to bring everybody together and come up with really holding this administration, this state administration, accountable to what is going on. That has been lacking, and I don't understand why. It's business as usual, pretty much on all the islands, as far as, and I understand legislative branch versus executive branch, but how else do you get that message across to the governor? You have individuals making a lot of noise to the governor, but until we can band together and show that united front that says, "Hey, governor, now it's time to fish or cut bait, buddy. You need to make some decisions. You need to start being transparent with the people. Now is not the time for be holding secrets and have people guessing and speculating of what you're going to do tomorrow." I mean, we all should know we're so far into this, and by now you would think that we know, and we know that there's benchmarks that we're waiting for the next level to kick in, but nothing, absolutely zero. And I
So,
know you're frustrated being on the
you know, man,
legislative side.
you're absolutely right, and I guess I've been the one that will always say what I like, and as you guys know, and I get dinged for this all the time, but there's no skin off my back because it's the people's voice when I speak about things. As my husband said, "Hey, honey, I still love you whether you're there or not." But if you ain't gonna speak the truth, or you ain't gonna represent a unified front of the people you represent, then it's best you get out of Dodge. And as one person once told me, if you can't take the criticism, you're in the wrong business. So that unified front definitely needs to be there, which we haven't seen. I don't think we'll ever see. I think the proposal at this point in time is literally to put many of us in that same room, maybe put a bag over everybody's head and muffle their voice. So we can't see you or hear you, but maybe then we can listen to the message, which is why my utmost outreach is to disabilities. I've learned a lot from people with disabilities, especially from the blind. It's good sometimes I don't see it, but I listen to it. And I think that message is what we need to carry, because most of what I've always seen is, "Hey, remember that time you did this to me?" Well, but that was before. I said, we're talking about a pandemic that affects the state of Hawaii. And if we're not listening to a message, which I believe you guys has brought this out every night, the message is clear. What
Well,
are we doing today to help bring the curve down, flatten the curve, and how are we going to help our people? At this point in time, we haven't done that. We get council fighting with mayors and vice versa. I mean, you guys have been doing great in Kauai. We have lawmakers fighting, the House fighting with the governor. I said, the message, again, like the horse, we blindfold them, put the blindfolders on, and if that's what it's going to take, I mean, it's about not just coming up with the complaints, but what's the solution here? And while we have a lot of those complaints, I got to be honest with you, I got to love my constituents. They have no problem giving me solutions. And when I relay the solutions over, everybody turns around and says, "Lynn, you're kind of nuts." I said, "I don't think I'm nuts." I said, "This is a consensus that comes out from the communities that I represent. I believe that a lot of things what they're saying is true. They're grassroots." And I'll say this, even when we talk about contact tracers, with the cases we're having on Molokai, a lot of them weren't even contacted by one tracer. Literally, we had people on the ground here bringing the information back, me relaying that back. And the crazy part is that when they took their testing, nobody confirmed some of those phone numbers. So how do you track somebody down now that is confirmed COVID and then try to isolate them if in their mind I don't know what happened. I just gonna go about my merry little way. Where is the transparency and then to make sure everybody is all in check here? We haven't been in check, which is why the solution to me was, as a certified contact tracer, why not teletrace with your community that knows damn well what the hell is going on the ground? And if it's about inputting data, talk to them and tell them how to do the tracing, send that information back, keep the data there, contact them. I get people finishing their 14-day quarantine and now being refused to enter into a store because people are afraid that they're still not done with quarantine. That is totally a disconnect and dysfunctionality right there. And then ask me about, Lynn, how do we make the description of a contact tracer? Give me a break. You guys have contact tracers. How do you guys make the description? Honolulu has contact tracers. The National Guard has contact tracing. And we cannot even do that? Something is wrong here. And it's not because maybe I'm not part of the in crew, but whether you're the in crew or the out crew, listen to the message. We have a dysfunctionality here.
I think what part of the problem, and you said it, I've listened to your message now, and I think where the program itself in concept for contact trace is universal. It goes across the entire state. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Where I do see a difference, and it has to be handled differently, is how do you contact trace in a metropolitan like Honolulu? And how do you contact trace in a smaller community like Molokai? And the reason being, it's pretty evident that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lynn, those who may have come in direct contact with infected individuals, I don't think either they don't want to be known because they don't want to go through the direct contact quarantine period themselves, or if something starts to manifest, they don't want to go into the isolation period. And I think that's when an authoritative body got to tell them, hey, this is not a game we're playing here. This is the real deal. If you're starting to manifest symptoms, you got to lock down. That's the only thing that's made available right now. We don't have a vaccine. We don't have any kind of treatment to knock it out. And until people understand that, then I think we have a definite problem. Two, I think what you're saying is so valid across many fronts, and that is, where do we start? If we're looking at Honolulu as an example, and I was going to say about Kauai, the reason why Mel and I we express our voices to help Honolulu is because the actions in Honolulu inadvertently affects every single county in this state. Because of their numbers, it whipsawed and it knocked all of us out. And because who makes the decision? The governor, right? He makes his proclamations, he makes his mandates. A lot of it is based on Honolulu. Therefore, it will affect us down the line. So we've always said, why isn't fighting this? We should be taking a battle to the virus, not wait for the virus to come to us. We should be going to the virus and we should be knocking it out, such as, number one, hit the targeted areas. If we know Waipahu has high rates of infections, flood Waipahu, go for it and see what a daunting is. Cast that net and stranglehold. They should do the same thing for Molokai. If we know where it is, they need to stranglehold it right now so it doesn't get beyond its borders. Because what I'm afraid of is that small lapse in time is going to cause it to fall off the sides. And then everyone on Molokai will have a hard time finding it. Where is it at? Because what is the biggest boogeyman right now with this pandemic is the asymptomatics. Because you cannot see them. It's very easy to see someone who's sick and been diagnosed with COVID. It's very hard to tell when they're asymptomatic. And I think that's why they need to, it's just, Charlie Iona, one who has been dealing with this thing for 6.5 months now. And, we've been beating the drum from day one. Hey, Department of Health, this is not a HIPAA problem. It's okay to tell where the virus is now. This is long you don't mention names. Oh no, it's HIPAA. So, from day one, we've had all these kind of mixed messages that also played into the dysfunction of how we attack this pandemic.
Charlie, and I gotta say, I hate the fact that HIPAA is there, especially when an individual is jeopardizing the life of another. I got so frustrated to the point where I was like, something got to be done about this. We're told to send our complaints to MPD, and yet, without us even asking, and I said, something's up here. So I called MPD and I said, hey, what's the problem? Why aren't you guys going out there and enforcing? And they're like, well, this is the reason why, because we're not given those names because of HIPAA confidentiality. So I then say, I'm going to contact the Attorney General. Like, you have an individual that now is jeopardizing the health, the well-being of other individuals out into a community, where in the meantime, you can go arrest them for on the beach, you can arrest them for standing too close to another individual. What the hell is wrong with us? So I was grateful that Attorney General Krishna was able to send it back. Then I forwarded on to the Department of Health. But then what happened to us later was, hey, Lynn, thanks for doing that. But if I get this individual that have violated, where do I put them now? Because we have no facility on Molokai, which is like, holy smokes. What happened to pre-planning? We've been working on this from March. And you tell me we have not figured that out? But I can tell you, on an island like Molokai, everybody go maka Allah, and they will be in your business. They will know your business before you know your business. So it's not hard on an island that you think it's so difficult to trace, even in the rural areas. I mean, these guys will find you and literally call me up, I don't care if 12 o'clock at night, and tell me, hey, the guy's still over here. And I'd be like, what guy? Who are we talking about? Because now it seems as though you become the enforcer and you become the HR. And I said, this is not my jurisdiction at this point. Please call Molokai Police Department or mpd.quarantine and email them. But, what is so hard about making a little piece of paper saying, step 1, if this happens, da-da-da-da-da. What about the sites of this is confirmation? It took us a while to even for me to get those guys to separate out the numbers on Molokai from Maui County. Because people weren't taking this serious. That's not our numbers. That's all Maui. We don't even care. I said, well, now we care. And, we have many. I just talked to one of my good friends yesterday for about an hour. He goes, Lynn, I've never left my home. I've been in my home from March. My nephews come near me and tell them, get away from me. If they're not wearing a mask, he gives it to them. And, he's a kukuna. And I said, it's not like the old days, yeah. In the days when you just get cracks for just even opening your mouth and answering back. But today, and I say this, even like my own kids, as the millennials, I call them, I get a hard time explaining to them why you shouldn't go. I have a hard time saying it's dangerous right now. Find something to do, like maybe go lamora yard, maybe go see if somebody needs help. But as us growing up, we've been through I like have fun. This year I turned 50 and I enjoyed actually staying home for my 50th birthday party. But at the same time, trying to look at others as they celebrate, parties and stuff. We got to remember some things we just have to put on hold for the time being so that others remain safe. But to watch our numbers climb like this and then to have the complaints come in and us not being able to do what we gotta do, show that unified front and say, we're in this together. It's very disheartening, as some will say.
Well, before you go on, I would like to say I noticed a lot of Molokai people, first-time names. I'm seeing them joining us. So I want to send my aloha to all the Molokai residents that's joining us tonight. Mahalo for joining in with your representative, Lynn DeCoite, as we talk about COVID and everything that's associated with COVID. I'm Uncle Charlie Iona. That's Uncle Mel right there. And we'd like to say aloha to you all. Now,
So, Lynn, you guys don't have an isolation facility there in Molokai.
We don't have one. So I've made several calls. There are, and I'll say Hotel Molokai is not qualified to be a quarantine area. Molokai Shores is, but again, they need a board approval. We don't have the, as you said, the card locks that you folks have. We get the regular key. And of course, you know, we can jimmy that key, but at the same time, we would have to put security on there. So, you know, again, you know, there is the hospital, but those are for severe cases. At this point, everything would need security. It would need 24/7 security. Whether or not the, you know, the CARES money, I believe, should be part of putting that security in place, just so that we can keep the majority of the community safe. You know, that needs to be decided within the county, yeah. And I think the sooner we get that through, there's talk about bringing in pallet homes here. Again, you're gonna have to find a place where you can set it up. You gotta put the bathrooms, so the rental of porta potty. I mean, the list goes on. You know, if the facility is there, you know, put the security in place, man. Like, what's the problem? But
So on Molokai, when someone tests positive and they cannot, and they live in a crowded home, what? Tough? You just go home and
you rough it out. I mean, we already have we have a couple of them already. They're still in the home with the child, with the grandkids, and
so
you know how it is.
so the county has no facility designated, whether it's a hotel or a, I mean, so you just you go back home.
Yeah, you go back home, or you hit it on the street, and I'm like, this is nuts. This is nuts. You know, I think the dialogue needs to be done more within state and county.
Okay,
At the same
let,
time,
explain to me. You said one hotel was what qualified and one wasn't. What qualifies a hotel? I mean, what more do you need than a room, a
well,
shower?
well, there was a list of hotels that qualified that was sent out. And when
mhm.
I called the manager, I had asked him, he said, "Here, let me go ask." You know, he has to ask the corporate. And I said, "Hey, you know what? I'm sorry, but you guys not on the list of you can quarantine or you couldn't." So they were on basically a no list of you don't qualify. Our Molokai Shores area did. Again, you have people that own that condos and those that don't. It has to go through their board and their management upstairs. Um, at the same time, you have a hospital. Molokai General is on the Queen's Hospital. Again, they have porters, but there is no security. You know, and that's our challenge.
The
Something that
hospital, the hospital is for people that are sick. I mean, obviously, if you're sick, you go hospital. But if I just having a really hard time understanding this because, like Kauai, we take them up to one facility, and that's where they go, and that's where they get security. That is paid, I'm assuming, by the CARES money. I mean, those people cannot leave. They get put in a room, and that's where, and they get food brought to them 3 times a day. That's
Get
that's
medical, get medical attention,
yeah.
everything.
I don't understand. How you plan on stopping the spread on Molokai if you don't have a isolation facility? That's
I
I
think
mean, and
this
it's not
is,
your issue.
I
I mean,
think
it's
this
a
is
county.
something that Mayor Victorino got to address. Because
yeah,
Mayor Victorino got to be the one for step up.
Well,
and he's you know, and not to say he's working on it, but you know, he's proposed several things, as you folks probably have seen in his press conference. But if there's an existing facility, by all means, if you put the security there, it's a facility that's workable. But what we're dealing with now is, as you said, you guys have a facility. What the community is doing is literally people like myself is just calling them up and doing deliveries of food, doing their grocery shopping. But this is not how it should be. So basically, we've taken matters into our own hands because, as you folks know, the mayors have final say in a lot of this stuff. And I'm not even gonna go there about he said, she said, or who has what. But if we are to help the people and the county falls under one mayor, then the county needs to figure that part out. As you know, there is a separation of powers going on, and I don't plan on standing there getting slapped a couple of times while trying to make a recommendation and find out here's areas that we can use, and then being told, well,
Yeah, no,
check.
and I'm in no way am I suggesting you do it. I'm just saying that it like on Kauai, the Department of Health basically took custody of the facility, and the Department of Health needs to do the same on Molokai. I mean, the Department of Health is responsible for dealing with this pandemic. And if the mayor cannot find a location, then the state has to go find a location. I just cannot imagine that is so bizarre. Not to even have a facility where people can isolate if they live in a multi-generational home. That's stupid to let them go back home with Tutu and the kids, and it's ridiculous. You a long time ago, somebody told me, he goes, Mel, when is the best time to work on affordable housing? I said, not really. He said, when you don't have an affordable housing crisis. When you don't have the crisis, that's when you start planning and implementing your projects for affordable housing. No different in this pandemic. You cannot wait till the shit explode and then try scramble for go fix them, right? We had months, and I'm not just talking about Molokai. I'm talking about the whole state. We had months to prepare. Now, Molokai, zero numbers. Same with Kauai, right? But, and I'm not saying this to brag, but on Kauai, right now, if we were to get 10, 11, 12 cases, 13 cases, we have the plan. It's in place how to deal with them. But a lot of it has to do with that isolation facility. That when people come in, either they're visitors and they have nowhere to go, or local residents who cannot quarantine at home because the house is just too small, and they go off to this place. They don't have a choice. That's where they go. And interesting. I mean, I think that's something the Department of Health's got to really, really, really look at for Molokai.
And that's what I love about you guys' show, Mel and Charlie, is that, it allows the opportunity to speak up, where the questions you folks ask are very important, and hopefully that those individuals are listening.
Lynn, let me ask you something. We brought on Miskovich a couple of nights ago, and I'm hoping, because I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm saying this. I'm hoping he's going to get involved because of the system that he proposed, which is same of the system he proposed with the football conferences, the SEC, the different color coding, when you get the orange, the green, and the red. What you folks are going through now is pretty much the start of, that senior home, veterans home on the Big Island. That's how it started. That should be a prime example for Mayor Victorino to look at, because when they didn't do anything in time, that's the end result. 12 deaths and close to close to 70 something patients infected, or 60 something patients infected. That is a prime example why Mayor Victorino needs to get a hold of Molokai, because it's almost replicating what happened there. If there's not a proper isolation, you're going to take infected people crossing with non-infected people, and you're just going to get a big cluster now. And that's what's going to happen. Does Victorino know that from what you can tell?
So I would assume he does. Like Mayor Kawakami, he has a full administration. I would think that administration is being able to see what's happening, because if you cannot see what's happening in a Big Island, and that is why a lot of the people on Molokai is frustrated. It's happening before our very eyes, and it's like a dead wall, but we're gonna run right into them. The wall is there, guys. I don't know how to be any more clear, but get the most accurate information I can and pass it along. It's about what you said earlier. set the priorities. What is the priority? This guy going to jump in a fire first, or we worry about the guy maybe still about a mile away from the fire? We're going to have to take the first guy up front and try and help that person, and then look around you and say, okay, what is the effect around us here? But to sit there and then say, you know, I think I got to do this first. You know, that's why you get advisors. That's why you have people to advise you. And if they ain't advising you right, by all means, find another advisor. That person needs to do his job, whether you like that person or not. Get somebody that can get the job done. If not, you're a total disbenefit to your entire community. You know, we can lead on hospital water, but I can't force you to drink it. And while we have shared every bit of information I can within the Department of Health, and I mean, when I ask the questions, they give me the answers. I'm passing this thing literally along and saying, okay, this is what's happening. This is why we can do this. So this is why we cannot. Here's facilities that I know we can use. I've spoken with management. Okay, this is what we can do. But to one, look at it, and I'm not trying to play this thing down, but or put past playing. But you can send in one home here that no more bathroom, now no more electric, and then we gotta go figure out where we're gonna put them, and then we're gonna have to probably still pay for security. We all know why these prices went up to 47%, but you can send me some structures that I can build. So how much longer is it going to take to deliver it here to Molokai when I'd rather just hire a construction company here and bang something up faster, create some jobs, and then secure that thing? But we have facilities here. The interaction and connection now needs to be the dialogue within mayor and the entity willing to put it. And to the question that one of the people had, will the individuals at Molokai Shores be paid? Hell yeah, you should be paid if we're using your condo, and at the same time being sanitized and clean once we're done. The idea is not to spread this anymore, but to isolate the situation and do the sanitization right after, just like what we've done with the school. And it spread to our school, which one person then affected the shutdown of the cafeteria at the high school, and then the shutdown of the Kanaka one, which you guys know, we don't have much places to grab food from. So I was grateful to be able to secure somebody that would do the food in such short notice. And as you folks know, our store shut down half day on Sunday. So literally, if we don't have those supplies, which we knew by Friday, we got to fly the stuff in. So I'm grateful, and of course, I can say this, Michelle Naiole, you know, she was able to step up, be able to secure those meals for those schools and prep them. Today it went out really good, as well as the breakfasts and lunches, no complaints. And, you know, it's a facility of, you know, hers for families, and I'm glad that we could do that. But one person can affect and just trigger a total imbalance of what goes on a small island like Molokai.
Now, let me ask you one quick question. You know, the paper trail. Has the paper trail already started to the DOH under Libby Char, under the new director, to let her know, hey, we got a problem brewing. We need help. We need some direction for this spread that's now taking hold of the island. And have you gotten any reply from her? If you've already done it.
So I've been speaking with Danny Tomoyasu, who has been very good on the response. You know, while Char's trying to set herself in there and get acquainted with what's happening. She's no stranger to the Department of Health. I've never met her, but we are scheduled to have a talk story with her and ask those questions. So, you know, with that being said, I can tell you, even when Bruce was there, as he goes out, you know, I had no problem asking questions. He was very responsive to some of the questions that I did ask while being in a day with a lot of stuff. And it really stems to, what is the question being asked? You know, are we asking a question and trying to find an answer to the problem, or are we just calling it venting? You know, so we really gotta be thinking about what we're asking for, and does that apply to the needs of that individual district or the state of Hawaii? Because it's really easy to bash people right off the bat. And, you know, for me, growing up on an island like Molokai, we used to being without ya. because all we need is food and water, and the fact of growing up with the love and caringness of many of the families here. We learn to do it out. So when you get, you're happy. Like when Good News Bar, that I gotta give this to you, Mel, because I know Charlie starts.
Stop. Hello, all
Yeah.
of you, knock it off. Ugh. Yeah, I wanted to go back to does the hotel get paid? The hotel gets paid. The hotel gets paid premium dollar. You know how much Honolulu is paying a month for their quarantine hotels? $400,000 a month. Cares
Holy.
money. 400 grand a month is what they're paying with those hotels that are housing people that are need to be quarantined.
That's for
So
300 rooms. 300
that's
rooms.
a lot of money. But I mean,
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do. And I just got a text from someone on Maui that said the pallet homes that the mayor is talking about are 4 walls, 8 by 8, air conditioned, but no kitchen or bathroom. He has to commandeer a facility quick. You know, you going in and you're gonna negotiate with this hotel, and you're gonna pay them and pay the owners and pay them what they deserve to utilize a facility. I mean, it's not that difficult. But I want to kind of go back to what you say about because yeah, we don't like to bash either, but sometimes when we tell the truth about what has been going on, people construe it as being bashing. But the contact tracing and the testing, which Bruce and Park just never really gravitated to. They never considered that a priority. And now we're playing catch up, right? We're trying to play catch up with contact tracing. We're trying to get all these people on board. I know people here work for the state that have been sent emails that they need to go man a contact tracing post for 4 hours a day. Not trained, just they need the bodies now. But if we had gotten the contact tracing, let me just ask you this, Lynn. If you saw somebody eating one nice sweet lychee in Molokai, how long would it take you to find out where that lychee came from?
Well, that would be two shakes. That would be two
Exactly.
shakes.
You're in the community, you know the people, you know the culture, and rather than go bring college graduates with medical backgrounds that have no idea about communicating with people, and expecting them to go out and find out where this virus has been or where it may have been, lose money. They talked about the Pacific Islander community, the Micronesians, right? Who would be a better contact tracer for the Pacific Islander community or the Micronesians than a Micronesian person that can communicate with that population, right? No. You need one bachelor's degree and you got to have a medical background. That's why I don't like sound like I'm bashing, but if you let normal people, you let normal people suggest the recommend or recommend the things that need to be done, you're gonna get the answers. You're gonna get this thing whipped. But we rely too much on textbooks. That's what you get. That's what
Oh,
we get now. We cannot even
and
get back your lychee. You get somebody who can even pronounce lychee. You get somebody who know what the hell a lychee is, and now you got to go track down one lychee tree. It's not going to happen. And I tell you, that's where my frustration is because so much of this could have been avoided if we had stuck to the recommendations and the plan of testing, contact tracing, testing, contact tracing, testing, contact tracing, and we failed.
and like you said, everybody think it's textbook. I think that's why Molokai has done so well. Common sense. You don't need a degree for half of this stuff. I think common sense has held really well for most of the people. And you cannot be taught common sense. Yeah, literally, like you said, if you see somebody eating that lychee, I think Kaveh just said it. Take him 2 seconds. He could sniff that lychee out for you. But everybody tries to make it where it's so difficult. It stares you straight in the face, literally. Um, you know, the average person not gonna say, "Hey, watch it, Mel, I'm gonna punch you in the face." They're gonna punch you in the face first, but the person that had that, little bit education, we're gonna read the book first on how to punch you in your face, right? So we literally need to step out of the box. And at some point, as they say, when you're lost in the forest, sit down a little while and think about where you're at. Take that couple minutes to sit down and think where you're at instead of just running around like a chicken no more head. And that's kind of what I feel we're in the middle of right now at the state level, is you're running around with a chicken no more head, and we have no leader in front of us saying, delegating,
But
okay,
Lynn, to you guys credit, and we say this quite often on our show. The Senate and the House have been working diligently. They have been working hard. We watch the hearings. We watch Olelo. I get the Olelo app now on my phone, so I can watch them wherever I'm at. I get the little alert. So I mean, let's not. I mean, let's call the spade the spade. And in fact, the Senate has been trying. The House has been trying very diligently. And the block is not at the legislature; it's really at the administration. And I think people got to understand I'm proud to have you guys on our side. I really am, and I know I'm sure Charlie feels the same way. We've witnessed it over the last 5 6 months. We've witnessed it firsthand. So I just want you to know that much of the frustration is really not at the legislature. It's either at the state level, the administrative level, or at the individual counties level. For Kauai, couldn't be more happy than what we've done.
Yep.
But we've invited Caldwell and Victorino, and Victorino never did respond. I don't know. He and I are good friends. We worked together for a long time. He didn't return my text, my phone call, my email. So I'm assuming he just know like I'm on the show.
well,
Caldwell,
you guys both Portuguese. I used to be, "Ui, over here."
I tried it all. I tried mutual friends. I've tried it all, and whatever. I mean, that's cool. I respect them. I respect them a lot. I mean, it's not in a easy spot to be, but these are the kinds of questions I like know the logic, the rationale. I just want to know. I could be so far off base, but I know enough about this virus that isolation is critical. You gotta keep that infected people away from everybody else. I mean, that's
Oh
that's
yeah.
the solution, right? So you gotta identify them and isolate them. That's why you get testing, contact tracing, and we cannot allow infected people to go back in the community. You cannot. And so, I mean, I would love to hear his logic. That's all. And I don't know if he watches this afterwards. I'm sure he has a friend on here that come back and tell him, bro, Melvin dissing you. Whatever. It's not dissing, man. It's just come on the show and defend yourself, pal.
Yeah.
One
What I
one
mean?
one
It's a
thing I
great
worry
opportunity for
I'm
for
worried about for you folks, Lynn. For me, what I'm worried about is if there's anything that the viewers can see tonight, what's happening with this dialogue, is that one, there is a definite concern for Molokai because of the spread. Two, a lot of times local people, we need to see it to believe it, right? Because if you don't see it, you're not gonna believe it. What the local people should do is take a look at the Yukio Okutsu Veterans Home. That is real time playing out as we speak today. And that is a cutaway of what can happen to Molokai if we don't control the spread. Because it started off with just a few. Then it manifests itself to basically wipe out an entire nursing home. And I think that's why Harry Kim got upset the other day. Because he heard a lot of stuff. There was all lip service, but nothing was being done by I guess he targeted the management company, the Avalon, right?
yeah.
So I thought to myself, wow, first time ever hearing talk like that. But then to realize, you would think Avalon, because the spokesperson said that, they followed the CDC guidelines. They didn't have, the initial word was they didn't have no real plan. But then I realized they manage Halenani, and that happened several months ago. So they had practice of what to expect, and they still allowed it to hit the Big Island. They had the Kalihi Avalon Nursing Home, and they had a cluster. So they cannot say they don't have experience at it. They've had it done in their facility, and they still having it done, but this time it's resulting in deaths. And I think for the viewers, they need to know that this is real time playing out as we speak. And if we're not careful, I think that's why I really want the DOH to come in as soon as they can, get a hold of it, isolate as possible. If they got to commandeer a hotel, commandeer a hotel, let the CARES money pay for the hotel, but get somebody there now. Because if not, I pray to God it stops at 12 or 13. But what if tomorrow it becomes 50? The next day, Next couple of days, it's 20. Then you know it's already running away. You're not going to stop it already. So what do? Do you try to outrun it and let it die off on its own? But what about the kupunas that might, because Molokai has generations of families right in one household. So you have several in a household, including elderly. They're gonna get tapped by it, and they cannot outrun this virus. It's already shown. The elders get hard time outrunning this virus.
You know, and we have a lot of kupuna here, and everybody is auntie and uncle. And as you see those numbers that are there, you know, we are at 15
Mhm.
to date. I know that there are many that are starting to be sick in our community, whether or not that was the contact there. So, you know, as they are going to have another testing on Wednesday, you got to remember this. You know, after the Labor Day weekend, you know, it needed time for it to set in, right? As we would say, you know, let it incubate, as some would say. But you know, if you start to jump the gun because you start to see, hey, these guys doing this, those guys doing that. I could tell you what I appreciated tonight, watching Mayor Kawakami give them guys on ban. You know, sometimes you should put, you know, like the dog shaka, you know, on the neck. You cross the line and zap, you know, upside down you go. But you know, I hate to say that, but you kind of got to resort to those measures when you have a community that is just, you know, they're listening, and then you get the few. And I'm gonna tell you, I saw the cup you guys were given, yeah. You guys didn't miss the caption of the shit when hit the ceiling, but it's beyond the ceiling. The shit went right. So we're here really trying to say to ourselves, what is it gonna take? You know, the veterans home, that was heartbreaking for me, man. You know, and I've never seen, like you guys said, Harry Kim this upset. But by all means, he should. You know, he was within his right. Like myself, we've asked for that help. You guys, this is where we at. We need help. Like, you know, two hands are up in the air. We have the information here, but at the same time, you know, I appreciate the show because you guys give me the opportunity to explain myself. Same thing when somebody said, "Hey, Lynn, this is what you did." I said, "That wasn't what I did. I did this." You know, they asked why would I support the TMT and security? I said because of this situation right here, COVID-19. And watching Kupunas, that was the only thing I had said was COVID-19 needs security in place so that our Kupuna and people don't get sick, and to not to go after I don't like this about TNT. But going back to COVID-19, we gotta understand right now we are in a bad place. And going forward, we on Molokai need that quarantine. And whether or not right now the focus is Molokai, again, it's going to be back and forth. And I am so grateful that Lanai has held at 0. We had a resident from Lanai that did test positive again, but they were in Maui. So again, we've sealed off and as best we can, kept that island as isolated as possible. You know, stopping some of the construction that was going on Lanai Airport. But this is, you know, one, like you guys having the show and working virtual, it helps a lot because we are able to, you know, now use different types of technology and so forth to get that message out. And this is what drives most of us now is by a message, by Facebook, where we now got to do our homework and validate. Because you can only imagine people are there going, hey, get about 40 cases on Molokai. I'm like, holy smokes, where they got that info from? So, of course, you know, I got to go check, right? I said, nah, no way. So, of course, I was like, no, there were 4 cases, guys, not 40. But you can imagine if we get one more in the store. The stores have opted, in this case, to shut down. If there is a case that comes into Misaki store, the owner had told me, I will shut this store down for 2 weeks. Imagine the impacts going on top of the Friendly Market and Follow-Up Market. Those lines will be out there, and you can picture kupunas in the line. Believe me, if you're the grandkid or the kid, you better be on the line for your grandmother and your grandfather. If not, you deserve to get cracks. But this is why we need to like pay attention because the outreach here is about, hey, Lynn, we get problems. I said we have a lot of problems, guys. I understand that. But, you know, if we're not going to remain calm and try to do the best we can, we're going to be in bigger trouble. So I just, doing the best we can and working as hard as we can to make sure people are safe.
Good job. Good job.
Well, we're gonna all have to do our part. Whatever it is. If we say this every night. Each of us got to wear our masks. Each of us got to social distance. Each of us got to wash our hands, and we got to do this. And that's our individual responsibility. And the next level is government. They got to do their responsibility. Businesses got to do their responsibility as well. Everybody got to do their part, or we will never beat this thing. And, Molokai is just one example how quick this stuff can jump up and spread. Honolulu, I worry because the numbers are dropping now, and people thinking that we beat them, but we're coming off of a long weekend. We're coming off of a period where a lot of people got together over the long weekend. So you figure 2 weeks to get those cases registered. I just worry that we not doing enough, even when things seem to be getting better. See, we talked about this, about opening up shops that are safe. Why are we closing businesses that are completely safe to the general public? But the fact that they're either essential or non-essential, that's the defining character. If you're essential by somebody's interpretation, you can open, even if you're not safe, right? No one's checking. You go to Costco, Walmart, Targets, all of these places are wide open. Anybody can go any time of the day. But the local store that has really worked hard on being safe with the plexiglass and the social distancing and all of that, they cannot. And I already heard Caldwell saying he's going to come up now, make an announcement of relaxing some of the restrictions. I'm assuming that's going to come out tomorrow, same as the governor's announcement of Trans-Pacific. We never even clear out of the current. Yeah, we came down some, but we didn't kick the virus out. It's still here. But quick, we reopen up everything again. And while I think they got to be calculated and they got to be strategic on who can open and who cannot open. Like I said, I'd rather go to a safe, non-essential business than an unsafe, essential business. See, the virus don't give a shit if you're essential or non-essential. The virus don't care what color you are, what sex you are, they don't care. So we got to make sure that wherever the people get human beings that come in contact with other human beings, that it's safe. And when we get to that point, then we can travel, pretty much go around the place being comfortable. But
There is two things that I worry about. One is if you're taking all the precautionary measures and you still get sick, I like somebody tell me, hey, I wore my mask, I wash my hands, I social distance, I didn't participate in any gatherings. I even willing to take on lie detector tests for sure that I'm telling you the truth, but I still caught the virus. I want somebody to tell me how I caught the virus, if that was the case. Two, I think moving forward, if we open businesses to get the message out, because what Mel is saying is that when the numbers go down, we start getting lax, right? If we're going to open up, all I'm saying is we got to do all of that, but they should pass on mandate. You cannot be caught without a mask on. You got to social distance. The mask is the most important, right? And no gatherings. Any of those violations, that's when law enforcement or whoever going to do the enforcing got to jump on it right away so people don't get the impression, hey, that's all she buy. They're not going to do nothing. Because that's what's happening now. You saw that big gathering they had, right, this past weekend. Everybody dancing at Alamona Beach Park. What about that rule of solo at the beaches and the beach park? What happened to that? That's why everybody think that's what she buy. And whose fault is that? They should have enforced it to make an example so that people don't do it, because you're trying to ask for compliance. How do you get compliance if people are going to completely defy the rules that's in place? So if we're going to open up, they got to put the rules in place and they got to hold firm to that line and they got to enforce it 100%. That's the only way it's going to be done.
And just to enforce something like that, we can talk to We Blue.
Yep.
The enforcement is key. But again, it's for us to make sure the enforcement is fully equipped with the resources they need to do that enforcement, which means in our case, have the quarantine facility available. Because what do you do with that person now that you got them? Do you take them home with you? And you know, you can check this with Caldwell. You go look at the bus company now. The bus drivers are trying to reinforce when a customer jumps on and says, hey, bro, you got to put your mask on. What the customer does, spit at the driver. Spit at the driver. Yeah, you know, the comments now coming in is, hey, we like hazardous pay, which I don't blame them. And I mean, right now, I guess we should all be investing in Pepsi glass right now. But I mean, it's one thing to protect the individuals. It's another thing to start having a little bit of respect for people out there also, yeah. Because
Yep.
you clearly see that, and it's because of the frustration, yeah. You know, we needed to put our foot down from day one. We needed to lock it down, kept it tight knit, and stand by that. Because what we just did was we prolonged the inevitable, and we'll continue to prolong it. If the seriousness of this, in our case, many have asked and emailed myself, why aren't we locking Molokai down? And some have said, hey, I don't want that. But if we don't take a measure now, and again, that will be the mayor's call in this case on whether or not essential travel will remain essential. Again, we do testing here in Molokai by CDC and state rules. You take that test and you go into 14-day quarantine. Under county, you go see your advisor if you don't go into a quarantine. Now, is there uniformity across? No. So how do you clear this thing up if the next day you show back up at work and you just took one test and you say, oh, I was ordered to go back to work. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, on the side of the road, yeah, I can't even lawn more grass because in my pasture I wanna get dirt. So how essential of that worker can that worker be? One, we need to be uniform. Clarity needs to be there on the exact rules so that everybody clearly understands what the heck is going on. And it's not happening because the unified front has a broken arrow. And I'm hoping that somehow we come to that point in time that we can literally listen to what the people are telling us, and we will need to take that measure. And that's why you need a leader right now that's going to take that extensive measure. Again, this good law is looking really good now. I'm sure I'm going to send one over to Kauai.
No need. I get them right down the road, but I just, now I got to go buy candy for this silly show every night. I'm going to eat fresh peanut butter cookies right out of the oven. So you guys can both take your candy bars and eat them. That's so wrong. That's so wrong. Look.
This one's from Molokai, though. Now, this is from Molokai.
I love Molokai. I went there. I think I told you, Lynn, I went there twice. I had my PI business. We had to go find one guy, and went to Molokai. Stopped at the gas station, Kanakakai, asked, hey, by any chance, you guys know this guy? He told me exactly where the guy lived, where the house was. Went up to the house, and come to find out, the guy had come to Kauai, so we'd miss each other. So me and my partner got to spend the night in Molokai down at that hotel, that one right there. What's the name of that thing? Molokai, what? Molokai
Hotel
Inn.
Molokai.
Hotel Molokai
Mm.
had one live, the kind, had Ho'okena playing. I think it was Ho'okena.
Oh, that was Pohana Inn. Pohana Inn.
Mhm.
Pahana Inn, yeah. Oh my gosh, we had a good night, and then we ended up going back because we had to go back to go find them, and we just had a wonderful time. Met a lot of good people over there, and I love that place. It's a special place, man. The people there is just different. They deserve better, and I think and I hope, like we tell all our guests after we close the show, that's when all the decision makers jump on, the governor and all of his people, and probably Victorino. They're all going to come watch or have somebody watch them to give them the briefing. So I'm hoping that tomorrow we hear in somebody's discussion about the United Front. I'm hoping that tomorrow we hear about discussions to open up one of the hotels as an isolation facility for Molokai. I do believe that a lot of our not constituents, but our viewers come up with some wonderful ideas on this show that actually gets into the minds of some of our lawmakers. So hopefully something comes out of this show tonight, because I cannot imagine any jurisdiction without a facility to house our positive people that need to be isolated. I just don't. Unbelievable.
Oh, that was so good.
Look, he eat him. He couldn't even wait. He couldn't even wait.
Mm.
Pauline, I know we went over time. You got any closing comments for your constituents and for all of us that love you so much?
Of course, thank you to the viewers. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Charlie. We try to watch you guys whenever we can. Sometimes I watch you guys from the Pasha while you're starting at 7 since the sun's still up. But again, I just remind everybody to be safe. Wear your mask, watch your distance, wash your hands, be respectful, have compassion for everybody out there, and again, aloha everybody. But of course, Mel, is that on Kauai cookie or what you
Oh,
eating? Yeah. What is it?
peanut butter. My wife made this peanut butter cookies tonight.
But I just acknowledge that a lot of the viewers have a lot of good solutions, and I'm hoping that many of us that are watching tonight, whether we are just individuals, community people, or leaders, that we take into consideration that we do have a problem, and that whether it's a small island, a small district, that the acknowledgement of resources is made available so that we can continue to protect the people. And of course, I hope you guys still playing your music, because I haven't heard the song on the closing for a long time. But mahalo all you guys, and thank you for watching tonight. Really appreciate it. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get the brownies after this.
It's my third favorite candy. You guys are kidding me.
Yeah,
So
we
mahalo.
will. We will. I'll go grab the guitar, but I wanted to say thank you so much, Lynn, for taking the offer to come on tonight. I did want to say that I touched a little about enforcement. Back in the day when the federal government would give each state money for the Click It or Ticket program, it was so easy to pass out a couple hundred tickets, no problem whatsoever on Maui. We did it because the money was available. I cannot see why it's so hard to issue citations now. It seems like it's a taboo, really, because in order for this program to work, you got to have that enforcement arm to make it work. Because if there's not one ticket issue, that means that technically everybody complying, and that's not happening. That's not happening because we're trying to stop this pandemic. You want everybody to comply. So if there's no tickets, and someone can say on a stack of Bibles, I went to every single person and they were masked up, there were no violations, then yes, then the program is working. But based on what we saw, based on what they're putting in Facebook, based on all these groups gathering, it's not happening. So I don't know how you can get compliance. But I just want to thank you so much for giving for making time out. And as I leave you with this message, we're gonna make sure we're gonna help Molokai however we can. You just call, and we're always gonna be there. Lynn. You just give us a call.
Mahalo to both of you guys. Mahalo to the viewers and the people that are listening. The solutions and the comments made is outstanding. And as always, your viewers is unbelievable as we continue to go forward. So God bless everybody. And I look forward to hearing and seeing you folks. Be safe in Kauai. Mel, always good seeing you in Charlie. So take care, you guys. Aloha.
Likewise, you guys stay safe up in Molokai, and God bless you guys. Charlie bringing out the guitar. I don't have my ukulele, but I think we can manage without my ukulele. But until we see you again, then you stay safe. Tell your husband, thank you for letting us have you for an hour or so, and send our aloha to all the residents of Molokai, East Maui. And for those of you watching, on Thursday we'll have Lieutenant Governor Josh Green on. Again, hopefully he'll be feeling well, and it's going to be interesting to hear from. You got to turn that thing off.
Sorry.
See. My wife, she's on it. She monitors this from the bedroom.
That's a good wife because my husband is monitoring me right now from the side.
Yeah.
You're gonna get my good news pretty soon from me.
I don't even see another candy bar. I don't want to see another candy bar. Snickers and Reese's, my three favorite candies. And
Never got one Kit Kat.
oh man, oh man, that's my fourth favorite candy. But I had homemade peanut butter cookies,
Oh,
which was delicious.
oh
Anyway,
That is good because I had 2 Snickers and about to have 4 Reese's peanut butter cups.
oh my goodness. We're not holding nothing back, eh?
I hope you get diarrhea tonight.
You ready?
Ready.
One more time, vamping. Good night, everybody.
I will have you guys tonight. Stay safe. God bless.
God bless you guys.